1,381 years ago, a significant transformation occurred in the Middle East precisely between the 15th and 20th of August. This period marked a watershed moment in the geopolitical landscape of the region. The Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, found itself confronted by a formidable new religious force, Islam, and these two powers engaged in a fierce struggle for supremacy in the Middle East, a struggle that would be epitomized by the momentous Battle of Yarmuk. The consequences of this pivotal conflict continue to reverberate throughout the region to this day. Welcome to the latest edition of Kings and Generals, our documentary series. Before delving into the events surrounding the Battle of Yarmuk, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all those who have been following our documentary series. Thus far, we understand that statistically a relatively small number of viewers reach the conclusion of video content, which is why we are taking a moment to kindly request your subscriptions at this point. We are committed to producing more comprehensive documentaries, and by subscribing you ensure that you won't miss any of our upcoming content. In one of our previous videos, we explored the protracted war between the Byzantine Empire and the Sinan Shaddan, which unfolded between 62 and 628. To gain a thorough understanding of the Middle Eastern situation preceding the early Muslim conquests, we highly recommend watching our earlier videos. In brief, the war between the Byzantine Empire and the Sinan Shaddan ended inconclusively, leaving neither side with significant gains. This prolonged conflict had weakened both empires and left them susceptible to the emerging caliphate. While these two great powers were embroiled in their intense struggle, to the south, the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, was disseminating his new religion throughout Arabia. By 630, he had succeeded in uniting most of the Arabian Peninsula under his leadership. Following Muhammad's death in 632, he was succeeded by Abu Bakr, who, despite facing widespread rebellion in the peninsula, managed to restore his authority. In 633, in the very same year, Abu Bakr launched a campaign to expand beyond the borders of Arabia, encompassing eastern Syria, western Iraq, and central Jordan. These conquests established a foothold for the subsequent phase of his expansion plan, the invasion of Palestine and Syria. The Byzantine defenses in this region were vulnerable, with the population often docile for religious reasons, and Roman rule had only recently been re-established following the war against Sassanids. Historically, these lands had been subject to invasions from the east by the Persians, leaving the southern defenses lacking. In 634, Abu Bakr ordered the invasion of Palestine and Syria with the aim of securing these provinces and effectively dividing the Byzantine Empire in two. Emperor Heraclius, however, considered a southern attack unlikely and had left only local garrisons to safeguard the region. The initial confrontation occurred on the border between the Roman and Sinan territories at far as Arab forces then advanced into Palestine, decisively defeating the Roman garrison at Gaza. In February, in response, Heraclius dispatched a larger army to the central region, Caesarea Maritima, where the renowned Muslim commander Khalid ibn al-Walid, who had previously operated in Sinan territory, joined the campaign. In June and July, Khalid achieved victories over Jinnate forces and then over the combined Byzantine Jinnate army led by Aras himself. While incurring minimal losses, the pivotal battle of this campaign took place in August at Anadin, where the Byzantines suffered heavy losses exceeding 10,000 men and lost their ability to defend Palestine. The Muslims now controlled the countryside but were hesitant to assault the coastal cities due to the Byzantine naval superiority. Arab forces steadily advanced northward, putting significant pressure on the Byzantine Empire, the defenders, to repel the Byzantine on the Arab side. They also faced challenges on their left flank, but ultimately managed to reclaim most of the lost territory, primarily due to the intervention of al-Walid's cavalry. The Byzantine strategy had faltered as the Muslim reserve counterattacked their center, forcing them to retreat in order to re-establish their front lines. The third day of battle began similarly to the second, with Vahan's left flank securing an advantage and inflicting significant casualties on the Muslims. However, al-Walid once again played a crucial role by deploying his cavalry reserve to the right, restoring the formation. During these early days of the battle, the Arab losses far exceeded those of the Byzantine. As the Battle of Yarmuk continued, al-Walid, recognizing that his defensive tactics were leading towards Inevitable defeat initiated efforts to devise a new strategy in contrast the Byzantine. Leader remained convinced that his existing tactics were effective and resolved to once again launch an offensive against the enemy's left flank. This assault, mirroring previous days, succeeded in pushing the Arab forces all the way back to their camp. Simultaneously, the right center group of the Arab army was compelled to retreat, and it appeared that a breakthrough for the Byzantine was imminent. Al-Walid, faced with the urgency of the situation, took action to rescue the day. He issued orders for his left and left center forces to launch a counterattack aiming to engage and pin down the advancing Byzantine left and left center units, which had extended too far. This diversion left the Byzantine right flank vulnerable, and Al-Walid seized this opportunity by sending a group to attack. There, this maneuver inflicted significant losses on the Byzantine, compelling them to retreat in order to avoid being encircled. Although the Arab right and right center experienced casualties, they managed to hold their ground against the opposing forces. On the fifth day of the Battle of Yarmuk, the Byzantine leader decided to request a ceasefire as he believed his tactics were proving successful. However, Al-Walid emphatically rejected the offer, being confident in his army's imminent victory. Instead, Al-Walid dispatched a cavalry squadron to secure the closest bridge, effectively cutting off the Byzantine retreat route with his remaining cavalry concentrated on the right flank. The sixth and final day of the battle saw the Muslims receive orders to advance. When the infantry engagement commenced, Al-Walid executed a masterful maneuver by launching attacks against the enemy's cavalry and infantry from both the flanks and rear. Although the Byzantine held an advantage in cavalry, their forces were dispersed across the front while the Arab riders were concentrated. This resulted in a crushing defeat of Vahan's cavalry, and the Muslim right wing achieved success in their battle against the Byzantine left as they were subjected to attacks from the rear. Subsequently, these victorious troops launched an assault on the Byzantine center, effectively sealing the outcome of the battle as the closest bridge was now under Arab control. Many Byzantine soldiers, including Vahan, perished during the retreat, and the casualties on both sides exceeded 25,000. In the following decades, the Muslims continued their expansion, eventually taking control of Syria, Egypt, and North Africa from the Eastern Roman Empire. Constantinople itself faced multiple sieges but managed to withstand the assaults. The Romans never managed to reclaim these territories, and the lands remain under Muslim dominion. To this day, we appreciate your viewership of our documentary on the Battle of Yarmuk, and we sincerely hope that you found it informative.